This is the Independent Dealer Podcast. Education by dealers for dealers. Now, here are your hosts, Luke Godwin and Jeff Watson.
Hello and welcome to the Independent Dealer Podcast, brought to you by Buckeye Dealership Consulting. Luke, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm on vacation.
Yeah, well, that's I wish I was. Robyn, where are you at?
Salt Lake City, sunny Salt Lake, finally turning into spring.
Oh man, that's nice. I love Salt Lake. It's so beautiful there.
Yeah, we are still slaving away at our desks, Robyn and I, but Luke, he doesn't care anymore. He just doesn't care anymore. But we have got Robyn here with Blytzpay, and we're going to go over some of the more interesting things that are happening, because we talk about this all the time on the podcast, that as our vendors find ways to improve their services and integrate this AI wave that's coming, right? Everyone's like, I don't want to talk to a computer. No, you want to talk to a computer, trust me. And you want computers talking to your customers. It's going to make it so much easier, faster, simpler. Blytzpay is doing some really cool things along those lines, as well as some other stuff, right, Robyn? So you're going to kind of tell us what's going on, what we're getting into, and what the future looks like?
Got some cool stuff coming up.
Well, it's all AI. You know, Jeff, ChatGPT is so great. I know we've talked about that before, but I've really embraced it here lately.
It's like your best friend, your counselor.
It saves me so much time on the consulting side.
Yeah.
I mean, it is amazing.
You know, as a side note, I was thinking, and I've talked to our producer, if you can call her that, about taking all of our episodes, dumping them into AI, transcribing them into a Google Doc that can then be searched by AI. We could have an unlimited database of whatever 300 and something episodes we've done. The dealers could go in and literally just ask AI, hey, what did dealers do in this situation? What did dealers do in this situation? You could have just an expert AI dealer consultant, and we could replace Luke completely.
That would be wonderful.
And he'd never have to come back from Mexico and actually do any consulting. We'll just put it in a chatbot.
Sounds good.
I'm going to work on that.
I bet Blytzpay could figure it out. They got some really, really smart folks over there.
We do. We've got some really smart, we've got some good developers and some good product people, but yeah, we're busy right now, Luke.
And let's talk about busy real quick, because I want to ask you this question. Robyn, you've never shied away from the hard questions. And some of our dealers that are listening are Blytzpay customers, and they have the unfortunate situation of also being IDMS customer. And sometimes that system doesn't play well with other systems. And I get it. Like, I get that when you put hundreds of millions of dollars into building a DMS, you want to keep everyone inside your ecosphere. You want them to use your CRM and your booking tool and your payment processor and your collections and your everything, because you're capturing more revenue that way. But that's not always, like, we have ventured away from our payment processor and said, hey, we don't like the tightly integrated version. We want to go with Blytzpay because of all these extra benefits. And we'll talk about those later. But what's the deal with them not playing nicely with other software providers?
So here's the reality. You've got software that was built some time ago, right? And I like to think of Blytzpay as a sticky partner. They're not cutting edge. They're not bleeding edge, right? They're a DMS that does what the DMS has done. What Blytzpay has done is thought about ways to be creative when supporting those key platforms. I've heard switching a DMS likened to a bad divorce.
Indeed.
So we're building on top of platforms that don't have today's features and functionality. And we do. We are bleeding edge and cutting edge, and we're shifting the paradigm. We are talking about, we think of ourselves as a software provider, right? We're a software provider that supports payments, but the goal is to carry big, heavy loads on this, train track. We think of the Industrial Revolution when train tracks went all over the United States. And now you're able to efficiently carry big, heavy loads. Same thing, the heavy loads that we're carrying are the communications and the ability to self-serve to your consumers.
So Jeff has always wanted a DMS package, software package that has everything across the board. And what you're saying is that may not be the best idea, because software gets dated. and new innovators like Blytzpay come in and help your software come up to speed. I mean, what's best? That a software package that does everything and works kind of good and doesn't innovate all that much, or what you're describing?
So this is what I'll say about that. With all the dealers that we have boarded and engaged with and have consulted and coached and all the things that we're doing with our dealers, everybody does things just a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And a lot of dealers have these practices that fit in a box, and nobody knows exactly why they do these things, but typically it's the limitation of a software. So I am arranging my business practices to accommodate my software rather than my software matching my business practices. And you see a lot of that. And so are there up and coming platforms that are going to do a lot more than the existing platforms? Yes. Can you get the same opportunity with a partnership in your existing platforms? I think you can. I think you can get that same experience with the practices that you're used to. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. There's a couple that are on the verge of launching, and one that has launched that's coming out. We'll see.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
Well, Luke, you run into the issue is these legacy DMSs start getting lazy, right? And they're not forward thinking. Like if you compare it to say like a Google Cloud service or a Facebook, if they're not innovating from inside, they're acquiring from outside, right? To make that specific feature that they see the public wants now in-house. So they go out and they buy Instagram, or they go out and buy WhatsApp, or they buy some other little product. Now, if IDMS really was on their game, they would have saw Blytzpay coming up, and they would have made an offer to buy them as a baby and integrate them internally, have a very good API connection, and everything works great. And they would start doing that with every aspect, from CRM to booking tools to whatever else is inside your DMS, right? That's not possible because the DMSs are just kind of resting on their laurels, and they probably don't have the cash because they're not a sexy growing SaaS business that can just spin off stock to get cash. So you've got little guys.
Question though. That's buy or build, right? Do we buy or do we build, or do we partner?
Well, you don't build because
tools,
you lost
right?
your
That's
talent.
right.
Because sexier companies like Blytzpay hired your talent away from you, and you sent everyone over across seas.
Well,
those guys are just paid to keep the lights on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I think the customer service aspect of all these softwares come into effect too. There's no customer service with IDMS anymore, and they chose to do that by moving everything offshore.
Well, again, it's not a bag on them situation, but it's
not.
Part of that is, again, when the management or ownership company just sees them as a cash cow to basically milk until it dies, then that's the attitude, right? If you're not, whatever, maybe that's the way. So with Blytzpay, when you guys come in and you say, hey, we're going to run payments for people, and then at some point in your business plan, or I don't know if this was the original thing, but you're like, well, the collections platform really sucks at these places. Why don't we just give them this software as a service and not just be a payment rail that's just going to process payments, right? And so you say, great, now we've got this amazing collections platform that is now really what we do. Like processing payments is cool. Like anyone can do that. But you guys have got the collections suite, correct?
It's a paradigm shift. So I'll tell you the reason that Blytzpay, the reason that I founded Blytzpay was my focus on the end consumer. And what we found as we were developing is that there was this is an underserved market, not just from a consumer perspective, but from a technology perspective when it comes to our dealers and finance companies. So the paradigm shift is from payments, right? Which people view in their mind as a sunk cost, and everybody is constantly looking at their basis points rather than fighting over basis points. What I want to do is hand you a software platform. This is how I describe it internally. when we started to build, the goal was to take the concept of Amazon, right? Amazon, you know what to expect, and your payments process is invisible. And I can stack whatever good or service on top of it I'm selling. I've got my car payments, I've got my rent, I've got my whatever, right? But it's a seamless experience for the consumer. What we found was there was a real need to help dealers and finance companies communicate on a better path and make it easier for their consumers to self-serve. And that really is the difference between Blytzpay and a typical payments processor. Is we're not in a race to the bottom. We're actually building technology that's going to help you service your customer in a better and a more effective, more efficient, more cost-effective way.
I agree with that. My collectors spend more time in Blytzpay collecting now than they do in IDMS. You know, it was probably a 180-day change in that process. We've been on for over 2 years now, but they like that platform better, and it's because y'all do innovate. You'll do that. And I know Jeff, have you seen that as well?
Yeah, so yes, they absolutely, it's much easier, better for the customers. We talk about that every single week when we plug our Blytzpay advertisement. What I want to know, Robyn, is to make this even better for the customers and better for our collectors, integrating the AI portion into this system, because we all know that it would be better. It would be better. It would make my collectors more efficient. It would make my customers happy because they can get answers any time of the day. They can get the perfect answer every single time. I can't do that. Dealers cannot integrate AI into their software stack. It's not legally, physically possible, right? I wish it was, because I've tried every single way to take a little AI agent and have it just pluck away on the computer, but it won't. You guys have to integrate it on your end. And that's the argument I have with my underwriting CRM system, right? Like, if I'm going to have a CRM that's going to field, sales inquiries at midnight and get an application 100% approved and ready for delivery by 5 a.m., like, it's got to be integrated at the foundational level of that system. And so us as dealers, we're beholden at you, the vendor, integrating this faster and making it good, because I mean, I think there's maybe one or two dealers that have kind of found a workaround or done something on their own. But when am I going to have an AI employee inside of Blytzpay collecting money for me?
So that's a good question. Everybody's talking about, like, AI is the buzzword right now, right? Before it was crypto, and we come up with these buzzwords.
I know, but this one does me good. Crypto just loses me money.
It does if you think about it in the right way, and it does if you you guys, when we think about AI, what's your goal? What is your goal from an
to
AI?
Eliminate twofold. First thing is to eliminate employees, and number two is for the employee or the agent to do exactly what you want it to do when you want to do it.
Hey, we talked about being in Las Vegas on April 22nd for the Buy Here, Pay Here United. We also want to make sure you guys know that Steve is going to be there, Steve Levine, and we're going to have a large compliance component to Buy Here, Pay Here United this year. So it's going to be awesome.
And it's so important to, like Robyn said, she'll say here at the end, credit card payments and collections, there's a lot of compliance that goes into this to make sure you are doing it right, because we do take in a lot of cash and a lot of deposits, and we don't want to lose them by doing something stupid. So if you have a question about anything you're doing in the automotive space, you need to call Steve Levine, and you need to be at Compliance Unleashed while we're out there in Vegas.
Yep. See you there.
So I don't know that it's even so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a different answer. What you care about is your customer making a payment, period.
Right. Yes.
In the most efficient, secure, convenient way possible. Right? So when we're talking about employing AI, what you care about is, from a sales perspective, getting that customer through the process and into a qualified deal, right? Where you can sell them a car.
Okay.
From a collections perspective, you care about collecting a payment. Do you care how that's done?
No, not at all.
Do you care whether the consumer pays in cash or pays with a card or 5 cards?
I don't care.
No.
You just want the money.
Put the money in the bank.
So when we're thinking about architecting AI solutions, we are thinking about intelligent ways to reach your consumers and allow them to self-serve. Whether they're self-serving with an AI collector, whether we're talking about what we're talking about internally is automated intelligence, ways that you can automate processes. Look, you guys have tons and tons and tons of data points that come at you all day, every day. From the start of a deal, from the time that a consumer comes in and fills out an application, you're filtering data to try and write deals that are going to perform, right? Same thing with consumers that are making a payment. When your customers are in making a payment and a card declines, what happens? Do you know the difference between a card that declines because it's non-sufficient funds and because somebody's got their card turned off to be able to manage their money better?
I have no idea.
I do.
I think it says so in the decline reason, right?
The decline reason, right? So you guys are taking these big buckets of declines and you're picking them up and you're dumping them and you're dialing for dollars in your collections. What Blytzpay is doing, and you'll have to wait and find out more Buy Here, Pay Here United, the 21st through the 21st through the 24th.
Yeah. See, she's incorporating ads for us. We don't even have to.
Yeah.
Probably you're sign up right now.
We're gonna be announcing some of the things that we're doing, but we're thinking about AI and we're thinking about automations in a different way, not just AI for the sake of saying that you've got AI, but AI that's actually going to work for you and make your collectors and your collections motions more effective and more efficient, which means what? Happier customers. We talk about this internally as shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Do I want to have a conversation with you as a collector? I'm already having a bad day. No.
No.
I want to be able to pay you if I've got 4 cards and I don't want to talk to Luke for 30 minutes while you try and figure out how to run my 3 different cards and waive my convenience fees and whatever. Shut up and take my money. And then free up your collectors to actually have human engagement and interaction with people who need help, right?
Yeah.
Give them the time. That's a better consumer experience. That's a better collector experience. That's a better dealer experience.
Yeah, I agree. Friction, people don't believe this, but friction causes repos all the time. Friction from ability to take payments, friction because their car isn't running right. They had a bad service department, encounter. The less friction, the less repos in general. You said something a second ago about AI and what dealers have been fed in the last 2 years is that, we have AI, but the AI doesn't do anything worth a darn. And AI has advanced a lot in 2 years. I know Jeff's seen this. How many times have we seen on the expo floor that someone says, watch this, this AI is going to sell you a car, and it has no idea what it's doing. And so have we advanced far enough for this to really happen, Robyn? Because we've been promised this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's AI in the market that we've seen in a couple of different instances. Dealers are really excited about AI. And we get to the end of a conversation, these really cool chat bots are going to call your customers, and we get to the end of a conversation and somebody's willing and able and ready to make a payment. And then they have to transfer them to a live agent to make a payment. So what have you just introduced? You've just introduced a ton of friction, right? Yeah. And what if somebody's not available? And what if all the things that come with it? It's got to be together and it's got to be seamless. But the goal of any type of automation, whether it be artificial intelligence or automated intelligence, is to get your consumers to pay on time, and to pay in a way that's convenient for them at a time that they're due, right? So cool that you've got all these cool features and functionality and you've got somebody to talk to.
Yeah. So the phrase that I've heard used that I like and I cling to is just digital employee. Like, I want to be able to hire a digital employee that does all those things you talked about, that collects the payments and gets the money and runs 5 different cards and has empathy and sympathy and sets up a promise to pay and verifies hardship and sends them the link so that they can self-pay or credit card pay or do cash. That's what I want. I want a digital employee, because then it doesn't matter. I don't care that customer doesn't want to shut up and pay. That customer wants to talk about their problems for 15 minutes because they're having a hard day and they just want you to understand them and give them some sympathy. And my collector, unfortunately, I have one of them, can't do that for every single customer, 15 minutes every single day. But if I have a digital employee, it can do it for 8 hours and it can talk to that customer constantly for 8 hours and be their best friend if I need it to. So that's what I say is like, I need a digital employee that will be the perfect quote unquote collector, as perfect as you can train these things to be. They will say the right things. They will handle the customer's complaint right. They will work out a payment plan with them. They'll empathize. They'll get a verification of hardship. They'll set up a promise to pay that's smart for the customer, right? Because they have all the digital history to say, oh, you said you could pay Friday, but you've never paid Friday. You've always paid Saturday morning. Let's make it Saturday morning, right?
Twist that just a little bit. I'm going to shift that. You want your AI employee talking to the consumers who just need to pay and want an easy ability to do it. You want your customer.
Why not talk to all of them?
Because there's one that wants to talk to a live person about their problems. And
but they won't know the difference. At some point, they literally will not know the difference.
That's scary.
Why?
That's scary. I don't know if I'm having it. I don't think we're there yet. And yes, the way that AI is developing, yes. Are we headed in that direction? For sure. But
what's AI going to do? Give the guy a 90-day promise to pay, and all of a sudden you're going to get in there and freak out? Why'd you say that to the customer? No, there's guardrails. Of course, you train them. I think, honestly, I am less scared of training an AI and having them say the right thing than I am sometimes my collectors, right?
You probably only have to train them once, Jeff.
And you only have to train them once. Yeah. So I think we're doing all this offshoring to these, Mexican collection companies, and we're sending it over to the Philippines to hire these collectors because they're cheaper, whatever. They work 24 hours a day and never sleep, I guess. But literally, I think, and again, I've not seen it in practice just yet, but that AI is a digital employee that never sleeps. That does everything perfectly. I don't know. Maybe that.
Hopefully Robyn and the team at Blytzpay have done this.
Guess you'll have to wait and see.
We are be there, that's for sure, at Buy Here, Pay Here United. But the point I'm saying is that, yes, I get it, Robyn. There is like level 1 customer service that AI should be able to handle right now, right? Hey, I need to make a payment. Okay, Mr. Customer, I see that you would like to make a payment. Here's a link to make your payment. I get that there's kind of a level 1, which is the baby step of having AI help our customers self-help, just by pointing them towards the payment portal, which we would do. I'll tell you what, Friday mornings, having my collectors pick up the phone 50 times just to run a credit card drives me freaking bananas.
That's brain damage. Yeah.
I hate that. Yep. No, Mr. Customer, don't call me and tell me what card to run. Just log into your portal and run the stupid card. My collector has more important things to do. But next step, right? Why not empathize with my customer for 30 minutes? Talk to them about how their mother died and they're struggling and can't make their payment.
Last time, Jeff, we're not going to break in anymore today, but Buckeye Dealership Consulting, they're a great company. They started Buy Here, Pay Here United, and helped start it, I guess. And if you don't have your reinsurance company, I don't think we could say it anymore. If you do have it, which most of you do, you need to be using all the products. 5 years ago, if you'd asked me about CPI, I'd have said, no, I'm not going to do that. And that was a mistake on my part. I can't imagine how many hundreds of thousands of dollars I've left on the sideline because I didn't use CPI.
Yeah, absolutely. All the products, 100% of the products, 100% of the time, right, Luke?
That's it. That's what you got.
Building wealth in your reinsurance company is huge. Taking the tax deductions and that deferment, being able to bring that income back into your dealership in other ways that are tax efficient. We all like government efficiency and dealership efficiency. The Department of Dealership Efficiency, DODE.
Dode. The Dode podcast.
The Dode. That's a great name for your consulting company, Luke. Dode.
Yeah, I like that. Dode Consulting.
Yeah, Dode Consulting, Department of Dealership Efficiency. Anyways, call the guys at Buckeye. Make sure you're set up and running. If not, you'll be able to chat with them down at Buy Here, Pay Here United, right?
Sure.
Yeah. See you there.
See you. So, Robyn, a while back when a vendor was trying to introduce AI into the sales and underwriting process, there was going to be a charge per interaction with that AI representative. Is that out the window now? Does that not exist in the AI world?
It still does.
So that the dealer's paying for the AI, or that the consumer can actually make a payment at the end of an AI.
The dealer was going to be charged something like 10 cents a response. Is that still have prices on AI come down? Is that what makes this possible now, or does it get passed on?
Yes. It's going to get passed on. When you're talking about a digital dealership, there will be a cost that's associated. To be candid, the cost that we're incurring from the AI, there's a real cost that's associated with that, and there's a cost that's associated with, the build and with the minutes and with the production and all the things. So there will be a cost that's associated with that in addition. But again, the thing that we're trying to do here, the thing that we're trying to accomplish is to get your consumer to make a payment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to back up just a little bit. You guys take in tons and tons and tons of information. How are you, from a holistic perspective, looking at that information? If I'm a collector and I'm sitting in a seat, I need that data to be delivered to me in a way that I can make that consumable and then make that actionable. And so AI and machine learning is providing ways that we can start to look at the account more holistically when we're collecting. I'm dropping a hint here, and give those suggestions back to your collectors in a way that's going to be more useful, and you're going to make them more effective.
I actually brought.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually brought this to Jeff a couple months ago, and I said, if there was an AI that would sit over the top of your collection list and take out the ones that pay every Friday,
late
anyway, but they pay every 16th of the month, you just take those all the way off of your collector's plate. And then it says, and the AI goes, hey, collector, these are the 10 accounts you need to work today. And you need to work the heck out of them. Because that's really what we need. We don't need to work about today anyway.
You're talking about Clippy. Remember Clippy from was it Microsoft Word or from WordPerfect?
I do remember that.
Right? The little paper clip that sits in the bottom, and then just you kind of chimes at your collector and is like, hey, buddy, don't waste your time on this account. They're going to pay anyways on Friday. Or, hey, this guy got declined because he locked his card. Just tell him to unlock it. Don't ask him to pay. Like, that's what we need. We need like Clippy just hanging out.
Huh. It's a good idea.
What'd you call it? What's it called?
I think maybe we found some of it.
Come to Buy Here, Pay Here United and see what it's
called.
Call
it Robyn Birdie.
Yeah.
Let's pay Birdie that sits down there and just chirps at your collector and is like, hey, don't bother with this guy. He's already out of the country. We checked his payment history.
And if it only pinged the GPS as well at the same time, so you kind of know everything.
If only.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And then check their account history if you had that Stripe integration or whatever into their bank account, where you're like, actually, they've been spending money in Florida this weekend. They're not even in the state. Like, that matches with the GPS. All his money was spent on lottery tickets. That means he's probably sleeping in his car. You should just repo it. That'd be awesome.
If only. Guys, again, there's a ton. You guys get a ton of data.
Mm-hmm.
A ton of data. Partnerships between Blytzpay and GPS providers like Iteron and Pastime that you can visibly see in a Blytzpay collection engagement could be a really powerful tool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Guess you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it'd be huge to say, hey, hey, we're going to move this guy to the top of the queue because guess what? His car did not ping at his work address like it was supposed to, right?
What about if you had an AI system that could take the locations, right? Because GPS technology is going to tell you the most pinged locations in the last.
Yeah.
One's going to be work and one's going to be home. If there was a change, what if Blytzpay could prescriptively ask your collector to ask your consumer if there's been a change in employment or an address? What if
These are all great things, yeah.
And
what's so funny is you can train your collectors to do all these things. And I've done it. I have trained them to make sure they look at the GPS if a customer is this, or to ask for the new information when you know that they have new information. And guess what? You can train and train and train, and they just don't do it. But AI, we only have to train once and then continue to train, I guess, with the data to make it better and better and better. All right. Jeff.
That's better for your consumers.
Yeah,
better
Jeff,
from a compliance perspective. That's better for dealers. That's better for consumers. That's better for everybody all the way around.
So I get this on April 20th, 22nd?
22nd through the 24th at Caesars.
24. Caesars.
No, I mean, when does mine turn on, Robyn?
We'll have to find out in April.
Okay, I'll be there.
All right.
Robyn, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you letting us give you a hard time for some of this stuff, but definitely exciting because I know as our vendors who are cutting edge take this stuff on, it just raises the boat for everybody, right? And so if you aren't using one of these vendors, your vendors like, oh my goodness, like I got to get on this and figure this out or I'm going to get left behind. So it helps you, but it also, there's people that are trying to help us here. They're not just trying to like run legacy software and just milk us forever. They're actually trying to make our jobs better. So I appreciate you guys for that.
Yeah, thank you.
We love this industry. We have focused our efforts and our energy on buy here, pay here, exclusively to date. And we want to serve and we want to build and we want to be good partners. And that stuff matters. We answer our phone. We're trying to build solutions, and we are building solutions that are not just good for dealers, but are actually good for their consumers to help keep those cars sold and, people paying. There's compliance issues. Again, you guys take so much data in that we need to start creating ways to send that back in a way that's going to be meaningful and effective and efficient. So we appreciate you guys. We love the independent dealer. We learn lots of things by listening to your podcasts.
Thanks, Robyn. See you later.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you for listening. Please leave us a review. We'll catch you in the next episode.